자, 첫 번째 경기 시작합니다.
Alright, going straight into the first game. Let me get up my fish server tab so I know who's playing. If I remember correctly, the first one is going to be C versus Hero. So we're going to have a TVZ first on Fighting Spirit. So very standard way to start this out. Oh, let me get my webcam up here. Give me 1 second to adjust this. My beautiful or not so beautiful face, depending on how you see it up there. Alrighty. There it is, boys. Hey, good morning. What is that picture of C? What is that a picture? Oh my god. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit giggly. The caffeine hasn't quite kicked in. So ZVC on a pretty standard map. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, or not yesterday, but on... Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. But I talk about it often that Circuit Breaker is becoming more standard as people are realizing that Fighting Spirit's a little bit imbalanced. So, as much as Fighting Spirit has been the standard for a really long time... Oh, I need to put this on the calendar. Let me do that really fast. It should only take a second. Online.
자, 여러분들 연보성 첫 번째 SCV 나가면서 11번째 SCV에서 배럭을 짓는 모습.
애초에 연보성 선수의 마인드가
네.
좀 오랜만에 해서 이제 팀 배틀이다 보니까
should be up there now or shortly. We'll see. But anyhow, so this matchup is a little bit favored for Terran, just because it's difficult to really take a third base. There isn't a ton of abusable ground in the middle of the map. And the rush distances are short enough where Terran can definitely make the sprint across the map before the Zerg player can defend or delay with Mutalisk and the Lings and all that. So we're seeing a mostly standard opening so far, it looks like, from both players. Looks like 12 hatch coming out from Hero, and C is going to be going for that standard 1-Rax expand. Nothing surprising so far. You and Greg, are you guys ready to join me? Are you guys going to join me casting? Yeah? Okay, you guys, I'll catch you guys in game 2, but be on the ready. I'm gonna call you guys. I'm gonna join the Discord. So, anyhow, moving on to the game. Sorry, we're just getting ready. I'm not very organized this morning. Standard openings coming up from both players. There's still no gas from C right now. Looks like he's going to be going into that double Rax opening before getting a gas. So going to be a very aggressive build coming out early on. He's going to have a lot of Marines early on for a big poke. You can do with 7 or 8 Marines. It also sets him up for a really nice push with his first 2 medics once that gets out. So it'll be pretty exciting if we see that, but we have to see what Hero is going to do as well. I've talked about this a little bit before, and last time I casted, I'm trying to remember who it was. Mong versus Team Best. I think it was Effort. No, Effort didn't play. Was it I think it was Hyuk, actually. Maybe it was Hyuk, yeah. That went for, or maybe it was Misu. I don't remember. Anyhow, but one of the Zerg players in this tournament went for that Zergling speed first build and just tried to do a big attack early on, but it doesn't look like Hero's going to be doing that. He's just going to be going for the standard layer play. Not surprised to see this. Hero is one of the more standard macro Zergs. He's not afraid to just go into 3-hatch Muta or 3-hatch Lurker if he wants to, etc., etc. Not a big deal. This picture of C cracks me up. Wait, let me pour some coffee while nothing's happening. I'm also, during the break, I'm going to eat my first ever 40-cent microwave burrito. So I'm excited about that. We have some fire bats coming out from coming out from C. So he's actually going to go very aggressive with this push. Getting that early fire bat is really, really strong. And there are no Sunkens out right now. The first couple of free colonies are coming out right now, but this is going to move across the map quite quickly, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit too late. There's definitely going to have to be drones pulled with this. The leagues are going to try to come and wrap around and slow down this push, but this is such a scary thing. Stim is finished. 2 of the Marines picked off already, 1 fairly low. The Sunkens are only half finished. So drones are being pulled, but this firebat is so scary. This firebat can straight up kill everything. The Sunkens finish, and I think Hero's full for now. He needs to not lose any more drones. Whew, tense moment. That could have been an outright win for C, but Hero moving just fast enough to get the right amount of units out and stopping that push. So scary stuff. Spire's coming out right now. I wonder if C is going to try to do a follow-up push with the next wave of reinforcements right before Mutalisk hatch, or if he's just gonna retreat with this medic marine force at the front and just kind of go home. We'll have to see. I think you can definitely make a case for going again for that blitz. Honestly, I don't think you can afford to save up Larva and go for the Mutalisk right now, not without making at least 1 or 2 more Sunkens, because that one on the right is badly bruised.
그런 의미에서 약간 조일장이 약간 불리하게 게임을 시작하는 겁니다.
It looks like it is going to be more Marines coming across the map. Is he going to try to break this? There's only 1 medic here, which is not great. So he may decide to go home with this in a couple of seconds. He's already building missile turrets at home. He stopped his Marine production a little bit. So looks like, yeah, there's the retreat. C going to take it a little bit slower, going to take it a little more relaxed, not going to go too crazy. But man, that was tense earlier. As you can see, the main problem that Hero is going to face right now is he has a lot of gas, but he has almost 700 gas, but almost no minerals. So even though this first wave of Mutalisk, he has enough gas to get this out, it's going to take a little bit longer because he's got to wait on those minerals to build up. And that means that their late base is also going to be quite a bit later. But it may be possible that once he gets the first level of Mutalisk out, he can just tech straight to Hive since he has such a good bank out. Or he may just settle on getting the workers out first. We'll have to see. That's a lot of missile turrets of that natural, man. He must be really afraid of a big Mutalisk counterattack. Or maybe he just takes Hero's Mutalisk micro very seriously. We'll have to see. There's the Queen's Nest coming up. I assume there's a Hydra Den somewhere, but I didn't see it. If he is going straight to Hive without a Hydra Den, that's going to be exciting. That's some crazy zone right there. Losing some Mutalisk early on, not great, not very nice. But for the most part, this Mutalisk micro is not really going to do anything. The turn base is pretty much impregnable right now with this many missile turrets and the 2 to 3 control groups of units, so not going to be a big deal. And it looks like C is going to be going for that timing push with the 2 to 3 tanks and a science vessel. He's not going to go for any sort of pre-tank timing or anything like that, or sorry, pre-hive timing. But really nice sandwich right here, and one of the Mutalisks go down, 2 of the Mutalisks go down. Really rough stuff from Hero so far. He's keeping his opponent pinned back, but these Mutalisks are not paying for themselves. 1 more Mutalisk goes down and only kills off 2 Marines and a medic. That is not the sort of trade you want to be doing with these Mutalisks early on. It is keeping his opponent pinned back, but the third base isn't even done right now, and the Hive is only half finished. So this isn't a spectacular opening from Hero right now. He's going to need some actual Hero Mutalisks if he wants to pull this game out. But C's probably going to be ready to push across the map pretty soon. He's got his 2 subgroups, 3 subgroups worth of units, and the first tank is coming out right now. Looks like C is really going to bank on that timing with the science vessel and the tanks. He's not going to sit back, or he's not going to try to move across the map, and more Mutalisks going down from Hero. This is brutal. He really needs to stop losing these Mutalisk drops. The game is going to very abruptly end soon. He's having to spend so much gas on replacing these Mutalisks that he doesn't have as much as he normally would for Defilers, and he's going to try to surround this group. This was a little bit of a mistake from C, I think. He honestly could have just waited for the tanks, or moved out with both of his groups, but Now he only has half an army, and this push is going to be a lot weaker than it really should be. Radiate's on the way. Let's see if he waits for that third tank, or if he's just going to go with this. Defiler Mound is close to completion already, and with that, the game is kind of turned on its head. See, he was in a really good position to start things off, just lost an entire control group worth of Marine Medic, and now he's not gonna be able to push out and hit this pre-defiler timing, so a little bit unfortunate for him. Hero is in a really fantastic position on the other hand. He's got that third base up, and look at that spread of units. That's actually incredible. All these lings just spread across the map, getting complete vision and looking for any sort of move out. And here is the move out. These mules coming behind, they're going to try to snipe the science vessel, but there's the first irradiate, and not very good split there. So a lot of those mules are going to be badly bruised. So they are going to pick off a third SCV that looked like it was going to go to a third base. Lurker's on the high ground, that's pretty nice, but you really need defilers in order to pull out, in order to actually stop this push coming out. So consume and defilers should be done, and it really just depends on the control from Hero. Again, walking his Munilist straight into the bio ball. If my Munilist, like if Hero can get away with Munilist micro like this, why can't I? Maybe it's because he's just much better at macroing, I'm not sure. Anyhow, the defilers are coming out. They should be able to hold this ramp for quite a while. Comes the first siege. Where is that defiler? It's a little surprising. There's the defiler. Okay. So this is pretty much defended right now. Terran can eventually break up here with enough units. Z may decide to just go ahead and start the switch into mech once he gets his third base up. It's very typically what you see is once you know you can't really break the third base or the fourth base, then you just let it go and transition in the mech. Mine up the fourth base while you take map control, and there's nothing the Zerg can really do at that point. But we're still in the phase where C can still definitely break this with enough irradiates, with a good enough micro. And the onus is on the Zerg player at this point to just kind of hold on and not die. The Zerg player can get through this and get a fourth base up. It's going to be much easier going into the later stages of the game. But lots of units going down while they're trying to get down this ramp. It might be a good idea to just go ahead and put a Dark Swarm on the ramp just to make it a lot easier to get units down that choke, not have to deal with all of the siege tank fire and the splash damage coming down there. I mean, they still take the splash damage, but you know what I mean. Third CC is up. It's going to be flying over to that position in the 12 o'clock position, and more factories coming down from C, so it looks like he's going to be starting into that mech transition pretty soon. And I wouldn't be surprised to see C just start mass expanding at this point. Go ahead and take a fourth base, take a fifth base up in the top right hand corner. And just go ahead and start the split map situation. That's what you really want as a mech player. You want to be able to get the split map position. You want to be able to get two high ground main areas, and it just allows you to continually push out. This is such a good job with how well these tanks are positioned and how well the science vessels have been pulled back every single time. But it looks like finally Hero managed to get... Oh, rip. That's the worst feeling in the world. You look back at your third base, you're like, oh man, this hasn't been mining for like 10 minutes. Oh gosh. But luckily, finally one lurker gets down that ramp. I think it's hilarious that one lurker underneath the Dark Storm is like enough to turn an entire Terran army around. It's like, no, we can't deal with that. There's a lurker there. It's impossible. Oh gosh. But eventually, Hero should be able to finally secure this area and push back the Terran army. It's just so difficult at this point. And C actually making a pretty smart decision here to just go ahead and start putting mines over at the natural while he continues to siege up this base. And it makes it much harder to actually take this fourth base while still making reinforcing and flanking not an option for the Zerg player, because you can't really get out of your base with all those spider mines. And there's the floating barracks and everything, so we are officially into the transition to mech. As you can see, C already took the bases in the top right corners. He's going to shortly be working on just building missile turrets around the edges so he doesn't die to Overlord drops, as well as some tanks in the high ground area in the top right. And meanwhile, still hasn't lost a single science vessel to Scourge, I don't think. So this is going really, really well for C right now. The longer he can just continue to hold this out and keep these science vessels alive, it makes it so much easier for him going into the later stages of the game. Because he'll just have that high vessel count. It's much easier to deal with. Ultralisk, much easier to continually hemorrhage gas units from the Zerg player. And that's really what you want to do. Once the Zerg runs out of gas, it becomes impossible to actually do anything against the Terran army. So you don't have defilers, you don't have lurkers, you don't have ultras, etc.
업그레이드 실수도 없었고요.
이게 또 재능충들의 특기 아닙니까? 하지만 이거 바로
And it looks like Hero's finally had enough of these. He's going to try to push this out, but still the Irradiates are pretty strong on those Mutalisks. And it is going to give Hero some breathing room to take this fourth finally, but like I said before, Terran doesn't really care at this point if you take your fourth as a Zerg player, because as a Terran player, like that's fine. I have a split map position now. All I need to do is max out and kill you. And this is kind of the weird position in the game, where usually Zerg is sitting at like 110, 120 supply, and like Terran's nearing maxed. It's actually the most bizarre thing in the world. But Terran actually can't kill the Zerg player while Swarm is up, and Zerg doesn't really have the economy to pump out units quite yet. So there's the 170 to 110 I was talking about. It's actually kind of ridiculous, the supply differentials at this point in the game, but this is just how ZVT works. And some units moving across the map trying to mount an attack against this fourth or maybe the third base. Gonna have to burrow the lurkers, and that's really annoying because you really want the lurkers down here with these lings. Otherwise these lings are just gonna run to their doom. Yeah, you see they just run into a couple of units. Not a very good swarm going on. Okay, finally, actually the swarm is pretty good. These lurkers are gonna get in underneath the swarm, and that's just gonna be a pain in the ass to deal with. Obviously not the end of the world, it's only 2 lurkers, and when you're on a mech army and you've got this many bases, it's not absolutely horrible, but it does open up more aggression for Hero as he's running across the map right now. I love the smart decision to actually run through the middle of the map instead of where he knows the vultures will be mining the map up on the left and right side of the middle. So smart play right there, and he's going to be able to kill off a couple of these vultures with just pure laying, which is nice. You don't usually see that, but I'm totally down with that. And looks like the Ultralisk upgrades are on the way once Chitinous Plating finishes. I think it's Chitinous Plating. Once that finishes, it'll definitely be possible to go ahead and move down here and start really putting on the aggression. I'm not sure the status of drops right now, but as a Zerg player, you want to try to set up and break areas so that you can drop on top of the tanks. Usually on that high ground area, in the second Terran main, you really need that drops to drop on top of the tanks on the high ground. Otherwise, it's just almost impossible to break those bases. This is one of the things I don't get. Is I've always wondered why Zerg players don't just invest in like 5 or 6 Guardians at this point in the game. You can just 5 or 6 Guardian out of the natural or something like that. And then there's really, like, that just, it's really annoying for the Terran player to deal with, and then they have to send science vessels over there, which frees you up to push another side of the map. But it may just be that it's too gas intensive. I'm not really sure the economies of it. I do know that money is a little bit tight, even though you are on 4 bases as a Zerg player, money does get tight, but we're actually going to see the Queens instead. And this is one of my favorite transitions, but it feels a little bit late. It feels like a bit of a mistake to go for those Ultras upgrades before the Queens, because he's going to... The gas is kind of low, and his natural is being sieged up right now. That's a lot of Queens. And hopefully Hero will be able to actually break this, but right now his standing army is really, really small. Like, just imagine if there was 2 Guardians. Just imagine, you know? More tanks, more lings, just trying to run around the map and clear up any mines that might be happening to stand out there. But C's got a pretty good stranglehold on this natural, and this is going to be almost impossible to break. With the queens coming out, it might be possible to break this push and just go ahead and go out, but looks like we're going to have Valkyries on the way. So this is a really nice transition at this point in the game. You add on a couple Goliaths and Valkyries, and it makes it much harder to break this with just the queens. And a two-pronged push coming in right now from C. C being very aggressive right now, and there isn't really anything over here. The lurkers die off instantly with no swarms in sight, and actually there's only just Ling's Hydra there to defend. Okay, never mind. There is the Dark Swarm. That's going to be able to hold this off right now, but I don't think there are any lurkers out on the map on that side. And he can't pull lurkers from over here because he's being threatened by tanks. So this is just a very difficult position right now for Hero. He's going to try to run in some units and do a little bit more damage. And oh god, the splash damage killing off that lurker. That's painful to watch. And at this point, it's a huge gamble on these queens now. These queens have to completely clean up the entire mech army and allow Hero to completely ransack one of the bases. But I don't know if that's going to happen. This is a lot of queens, and you can definitely pick off almost this entire army with just queens, but it's still not great. It's definitely not ideal. So some good breedlings so far to be able to clean up all these Goliaths, and I imagine the second group of queens is going to come up here and pick off all these tanks, but not so sure about this. I mean, if you have a bunch of queens and 0 units, does it even matter? Here comes the queens right now. They're going to be able to clean up most of this force. He didn't quite pick off all those tanks right there, and he's not doing a good job of pulling these queens back. You really have to pull these queens back after doing this and recycle them. Otherwise, they're just a wasted investment, and at least 3 queens go down there, so not super good. And I think at this point, Hero's been broken. He's stuck on the 4.5, 5 bases. And he's being sieged up on both sides with absolutely no relief. His Queen Gambit didn't really pay off, and Valkyries are going to be on the way soon. So it's not very good for Hero right now. He's going to try to stay in this for a little bit longer because he did manage to slowly break down this force, but it honestly doesn't take a whole lot to go ahead and siege that up again. And some vultures going in here right now to the 6 o'clock base, just being really pesky, really annoying. They can actually kill off that hatchery if they're given enough time, which is pretty funny. And more tanks and stuff coming down here. There's nothing to really defend. It's kind of unfortunate. And 5 Valkyries out right now. That should do very nicely with the queens that come in. And look at this. The Science House is so completely unafraid. They're just going to fly in here and kill off a bunch of units with a radiate. While they can, well, Hero tries to figure out a way to deal with this, and it's not looking very good. There are the Valkyries. They're going to be able to stop the queens. The queens are being pushed back right now. They can't really do anything. If these Valkyries get on top of the queens, it could be some really, really bad news. There's no anti-air in the Zerg army, or in the Zerg bases, so a couple of Scourge coming out, but that's only going to kill off 1 Valkyrie. That's not going to do anything. Just trying to sacrifice some Lings. At this point, C's just got the game on lockdown. All he has to do is continue mining and just continue to remax. You can see that Hero's supply is rather low. He's running out of gas at this point. His mineral count's not that high. But he's trying to get a little bit of damage done with these run-bys, but run-bys really aren't very good unless you manage to kill off every single one of the SCVs, or you manage to accidentally kill off a CC. At this point, the Valkyries can honestly just camp this production and kill off Overlords, kill off anything they want that comes in. Not very good priority targeting on those Scourge, but he is going to be able to get the lurkers in position. These Valkyries just doing whatever they want.
사실
Whatever.
테란이 자원이 남아서 뽑는 유닛인데
And
저거 입장에선 저거를
here's
해결하려면
continuing to
나스를
hold on.
뽑아야 돼요.
맞습니다. 근데 지금
잠시 빈곤한
It's only going to take a good push to completely ruin this. This is actually a really good Ling counterattack coming into the 3 o'clock base right now. It's actually going to do a significant amount of damage, despite the rest of his units being cleaned up. But that's not the base you really need to worry about. That's just an extra base for Terran. Honestly, at this point, C could expand to the middle of the map if he wanted to. So, not really even a big deal for C. C is not going to care about losing a couple of SCVs at that base. It's not really a big deal to him. And Morling's coming out being sacrificed for these mines, just trying to find an opening into these bases to do some damage, but C is doing a really good job of allocating his units in the perfect small amounts. Just one tank here and there, a couple vultures will deal with the Lings, etc., etc. So, 12 o'clock base cleaned up, a couple more units, stray Zerg units, just kind of wandering around in the middle of the map. And there seems to be no clear plan for Hero at this point. He's just kind of throwing units, waiting for some energy on these queens. And I'm not entirely sure that it will actually work. Maybe eventually, like if he waits long enough, he can just continue to trade for queens for like the next 40 minutes plus, and eventually he'll actually win in the gas count, but it's going to take forever, and that's a lot of Valkyries out right now. The Valkyries are going to be completely untouchable after a certain point. I mean, this is just, it's ugly. All of the Overlords are going to go down right now. And it looks like Hero's just kind of going to go for one final all-out attack. He's going to send some units back up the middle and some units up here to the right. That was a pretty good plague there. That was actually really nice. And so a lot of those are going to be able to be taken down by just a couple of Mutalisks, but if they can actually get in there. I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know what the damage of Valkyries is. Hero Ultralisk! Hero Ultralisk right there. Managed to kill off 2 tanks by itself. What a god. Ensnare. Oh god, ensnare. That's what it's all about. Yep. Poor Scourge, they can't do anything. And more Overlords going down. You know you're in trouble when you get to this point in the game and you like have to replace Overlords. You're like, oh man, I'm losing lots of Overlords. I've had to make 10 Overlords in the last 10 minutes. Or not even 10 minutes, but like 2 minutes. Like, that's not good. More and more Queens, just kind of sitting there incubating, getting some of that energy. And surprisingly, a 3 o'clock base has been broken and C hasn't really bothered to re-expand there. But like I said, it's really not a big deal for C. Like, until he mines out this 12 o'clock base, he's not really going to be starving for minerals. He's not really going to have a problem with gas. And even in the worst case scenario, he can honestly just take the middle of the map. And there's not a lot that the Zerg player can do about it at this point. This is a bit of a mistake to fly this directly over one Hydralisk. He really needs to send these home and just repair it. It's so much worth just repairing all these Valkyries. Like, it's a pain in the ass, but you repair all the Valkyries and then they get a lot more value. And more stuff in the map being broken, and honestly it looks almost like Heroes breaking the center of the map. I don't wanna call this game too early, but I feel like he is starting to kind of drop the ball. He definitely could have won by now, but he's making so many Valkyries that are all on 3 health. I don't know about this. I don't know about this, guys. And a couple just going down to random Hydralisks in the middle of the map. Where's the mech army? Why don't you just have the unstoppable 200 mech army and walk into a base? That's literally all you have to do at this point. But for some reason, we're playing with this mass Valkyrie play, and I wonder if C's just trying to play with his food before he eats it.
이렇게 결국 발키리 없애면 적은 어차피 역류탈 절대 안 되고요.
These Valkyries just flying around, like, just killing random stuff. I've never seen... I want the Valkyrie count to get high enough where they can just, like, one-shot Overlords, but not gonna happen if they keep going down like this. Only 5 left out of the like 8 to 10 that he made earlier.
벌탱만 찍으면 돼요. 벌탱 탱크 찍으면서
And I'm still waiting for that unstoppable 200 back army. What's going on with C right now? This is
지금 오버로드 찍을 돈을 사실
not very good. I'm not gonna lie. I guess this is like the Ultra Turtle Terran style where you just wait for your opponent to slowly die. But this is not what we normally see in pro games. Usually at some point there's a kill switch and the Terran goes, alright, I'll just kill you. It's not happening this game. The 4th base is mined out for Zerg, so only 2 mining bases left. And eventually Hero will run out of money, but I wonder if C is just trying to wear him down. Honestly, at this point, C's gonna win this game, but that means he's gonna have to go on to the next match and play his next opponent after having played like an hour-long game, and that's not gonna be fun. So why not just end it? Couple Mutalisks out. There's a new development.
전략적으로 하는 거죠. 다 떨어졌죠.
Maybe we'll see like one of each unit this game. Let's see, what has C not made? Is he like pulling battle cruisers somewhere? Like is that where his supply is? Like what's going on? He's got to be hiding battle cruisers somewhere. Tell me that's what's happening now. Nope, he's just making more Valkyries. Okay.
근데 이게 진짜 와 이거거든요.
Oh gosh.
이게 와.
Mulus can't even kill all the 3-4 health Valkyries.
야 이거 원래 다 잡히는 거였는데 너무 좋아요 연보성.
Oh god.
야.
Alright. This is gonna kind of turn into a mukbang stream. I'm just gonna eat my $4 or my 40-cent burrito while we wait for Hero to tap out, because it is gonna happen eventually.
할만한데
사실 저거 다 잡아도
Yeah, this isn't too bad.
200이에요. 200에 2천 쌓이고 있는데 아직
The burrito itself kind of tastes like plaster.
뭔가 지금
야 그리고 해처리도 못 찍고
Beans inside, not too bad.
뭔가 이게 자원이 바뀌어 있으면 저거 이거 한 타입이 있습니다.
And this, friends, is why you don't play Zerg.
없네요. 없어요.
Even sSak against CBs.
이제 뭐 테란이 가도 되겠는데요.
들어가죠 저그.
들어갑니다.
탑방만 먼저 들어가는 거예요. 근데 마인이 그래도 많이 안 깔렸어요.
We're trying to move out right now. He is killing off quite a few of these tanks, and these are pretty well-placed storms. So a lot of these tanks are going to go down, and a couple of Lings getting into this 3 o'clock base again. They're going to be able to kill off some SCVs, but the gigantic counterattack with the Valkyrie is going to be able to kill off all of these overlords. Oh my god, that's all of them! That's going to be all of the overlords. Basically down to 105 supply cap, and if they can hunt down the rest of these overlords, that's basically GG. I mean, it was basically GG before, but a lot of queens coming out and more tanks going down. But still, despite the fact that C has like see, Valkyries are like 4 supply? Are they 3 or 4? I don't remember. I'm gonna assume they're 4. So he's got 4 times 8. He's got 24 supply wrapped up in these. 32, rather. I can do math. I got this. There's the middle map base. A couple Lings are gonna get in here. Luckily, there's some Valkyries there to save the SCVs. From the Lings, because Valkyries can fire at air units but not ground units, and that's a very useful fact to know. Couple more units going down here and there. You can see his bank right now is at 2,000. He's just kind of hanging out. There's a lot of gas for the Zerg player, so Hero still has the chance of doing like a surprise Mutalisk switch or something like that, but honestly with so many Valkyries, I'm not sure if that'll even do it. This is honestly the weirdest game I've ever casted. And not in a good way.
항상 받아야 되거든요. 아니 이 정도 경기는 받아도 됩니다. 굉장히 더 명장면 여러 개 만들어냈기 때문에 이 정도 또 받아낼 수 있거든요. 자, 그렇죠. 연보성 이기고 싶습니다. 들어가지 않습니다. 들어갈 생각 아예 없어요.
야 그냥 발키리만 돌아다니는데 사실
Another play going down on these Valkyries, so
바보 아닌 이상 그냥 스킨 때려보고
they'll be super low, but at this point C doesn't care.
그렇죠.
Flight over a couple of Hydralists, etc.
돌아다닐 수 있는 거거든요.
야 저그가 정말 답답하게 하는 게 이게 오버로드가 거의 세 부대 가까이 잡혔거든요. 야 그 세 부대.
Maybe he should go like Guardian Defiler or something like that.
어마어마하죠. 지금
야,
I don't know.
자체가 미네랄 다 파먹어.
This is pretty humiliating for Hero, but he's gonna continue to play it out, so I respect him for that.
아 골리앗 한 대 때리면서 뒤에 탱크 자리 잡는 모습.
야 이거는 아니죠. 이거는 이제 지지 나올 것 같습니다. 이제 뭔가 이제 퀸 마지막으로 뭐 브루들링을 쓰고 지지 타이밍을 좀 잴 수도 있는 것 같은데.
야 이게 제가 볼 때 조일장이 지지를 못 치는 게 너무 안타까운 거예요. 본인이
Still a lot of
지를
queens.
못했다는 겁니다.
This is so weird. I've never seen mass queens versus mass Valkyries.
이게 진짜 그
Like, stalemate. This isn't even like a stalemate. C could actually just walk up and kill his opponent, but
이거는 솔직히 조일장 플레이가 아니거든요.
I don't know.
약간 최근에
This is the type of like playstyle that I absolutely despise playing against you.
같지는 않습니다.
최근에 경기력은 굉장히 좋은데.
Like, are you ever gonna do anything? The turn player's like,
많은 분들이 또
no.
이제 그 연구성을
I'm
또
just gonna hang out. There, here comes the big muta switch. I think I saw like 12 mutas. Oh no, sorry, like 8, 7. Yeah, 7 mutas. Let's do this. Go, 7 mutas. You got this. You got this.
한 부대네요. 한 부대 딱. 한 부대.
01업인가요?
02업이죠.
와
와, 이거 와.
정말 밝게 화끈하게 쏘거든요.
There go the mutas. The last hope for this game.
연보성 첫
Oh no.
팀 이용호.
플레이가 한번 뿌리고
Another good play,
이용호 캐리가
but
아니라 연보성 캐리가 나올 수도 있겠거든요.
약간 탄력 받는데요.
자.
queens are gonna go down.
그냥 스치는 상황이에요. 스치는 상황.
야.
도망가야 돼. 도망가야 돼요.
Yeah, I can't wait till StarCraft Remastered so we can watch this sort of game in high def. Make it more like a, you know, a cinematic, like a movie instead of a game.
뭔가 이제
Like, so if we were to cast this like it were an actual movie, it would be like one Zerg player goes against all the odds, last man standing, refusing to give up. The queens, they ran for their lives, but they were no match for the terror of the Valkyries. 0 tanks went down. It was a massacre.
너무나 힘들죠 이거는. 너무나 힘들죠.
One lurker against the world holds off the choke point from innumerable tanks. It's like 300, but lurker.
만들어서 그걸로 공격 가야 되는데 브루들링 공격이
이게 조일장이 최근에 본인도 알 거거든. 경기를 보면
There's the GG finally. Oh gosh.